To begin our installation of the GE dishwasher, we're going to use a box cutter and cut along the dotted line along the bottom of the box. This is going to allow us to lift the top piece of cardboard off the dishwasher. And now we can open the dishwasher and remove all of the parts we need for installation. You'll find the kicker plate along with the handle, as well as instructions and extra tools that you'll need for the installation. Here you can see me releasing the clips that hold the handle to the lower rack. To install the handle on the dishwasher, you're going to find the Allen key, which should be taped to the outside of that handle packaging. With that Allen key, you can now loosen the screws that will release those plastic clips. You don't need those. Those were just holding the handle to the lower rack of the dishwasher. So just a few turns of those screws and you'll be able to slide that white plastic clip off the end of the handle. You're going to want to do this for both sides. Don't take those screws out all of the way because you're simply going to use those to tighten the handle to the front of the dishwasher. Again, just a couple of turns, and now I can take that white clip out. Using that same Allen wrench, put your handle on the front of the dishwasher, hold it with one hand, and then just give those same screws that you loosened earlier a little tighten. You only need to get this snug, and that will attach both sides to the front of your dishwasher. Next, we want to make sure that our door is operating properly and it wasn't damaged in transit. So if we open it to about 75 degrees, it should close automatically. Now, if you open it to about 45 degrees, it should stay open. And if you open it all the way, it should drop down. If your door functions properly, we can move on to the next step. You're going to slide your dishwasher close to where you're going to be installing it, and now very carefully lean it back and lay it on its back side. Don't lay it on one of its sides. You want to lay it on its rear, just like I'm doing here. With the dishwasher laid back, you can now remove the bottom piece of cardboard that it was delivered to you in. Now you have access to that bottom crate piece that you want to get rid of. So I'm using a 15/16 socket. And I'm just going to loosen all of these feet and then unscrew that foot all the way from its base. You have to do that in order to remove this wooden piece. Now with all 4 feet removed, you can get that last wooden piece out of the way. And then you're simply going to put your feet back on. And I recommend screwing them all into about 1/2 inch. I just use a simple ruler to try and make sure that all the feet are equal. That way it's as close to level as possible before I continue the installation. Now that we've got that wooden base removed, we want to gently tip the dishwasher back up. And with the feet all at the same level, we are in a good position to slide the dishwasher into place. The next thing we're going to do is thread that drain line through the counter to the garbage disposal. So you can remove that second bigger loop because that is just extra slack for the drain line. So put that under the counter and try and get it through that hole that's going to take it over to the sink drain. Now I'm going to move over to the sink, and underneath that cabinet, I will pull as much slack through that hole as I can. I want to make sure I don't crimp the drain line while I'm installing the dishwasher. Now before you push it in, you'll notice your power supply line. I've pulled that under the unit on the right-hand side, and that stainless steel water line feed, I've pulled that towards the left-hand side. Here you can see I've got the water line close to where I'm going to connect it to the dishwasher. And the power line I have loosely lined up with where that tension nut is going to go on the power supply. Now we are going to very gently slide the dishwasher in, paying close attention to that drain line as well as the water feed line and electrical so that all of those can be hooked up. Set your dishwasher front even with all of the surfaces of your cabinets. Now, using a ruler, I want to check to see how big the gap is between the top of the dishwasher and the bottom of the counter. I want a 1/4 inch gap at most. So I'm going to lift up the bottom of the dishwasher and unthread each foot so that it comes out another inch. I'm going to do that to all 4 legs. Again, I want to make sure the dishwasher is level. Then I will slide it back in. Now I have quartz countertops, so I am going to mount the dishwasher mounting brackets on the sides. Once I slide that bracket tab through the hole, I'm just going to bend it with a needle nose pliers so that it doesn't fall out. Once you have installed your brackets on each side, then you want to place a level and measure how level the dishwasher is front to back, as well as laying a level on the door to see how level it is left to right. You're going to want to adjust the feet to get it level in both directions. Once you've verified the door is level and front to back in the rear is level, then what you're going to do is you're going to make your dishwasher flush against your cabinets and then place the screw, and you're going to use these special flathead screws, one on either side. I'm using the side because I have quartz countertops. Now, I do have existing holes in my cabinetry. If I was doing an initial installation, I would pre-drill these so that the screw does not split the cabinets. Once you install a screw on both sides, then you can insert those caps that cover the holes just in case you needed to actually mount it deeper. With your dishwasher mounted, it's a good time to close the door and visually inspect how flush it is with your cabinets, as well as how that gap is along the top, just to make sure that you're happy with it. You can now hook up your water supply, but before you do, take a quick look inside. Make sure that gasket is in place, otherwise it will leak. Once you confirm you do have a gasket in there, go ahead and thread it on. It's just like a hose connection. I would actually get it finger tight and then give it a 1/4 to a 1/2 turn with a pliers just to make sure it's nice and snug. Next, we want to hook up the drain to our garbage disposal. So insert your drain hose to the garbage disposal, then using a hose clamp that down so it's pretty tight because you do not want water leaking when it drains. Next, install a high loop with that pipe strap so the water doesn't backtrack to your dishwasher. There was no easy way to show this while I was twisting wires, but I just want to show I've got the 2 white leads connected, the 2 black leads connected, and the green ground wire and the ground coming from the power supply are connected with this orange cap. So now that these are connected, I can put the cover plate back on. All right, so when we put the junction cover box on, we're gonna wanna just bend these wires in. And so make sure none of the caps pop off when you do this. That should be all right. So we're gonna slide this in, and I'm gonna have to tuck all the wires into that box. All right, so once you've got your wires kind of bunched, there's a tab that this box slides into on the right-hand side, and then if you can see it, once you tuck the wires in, you can put in this screw, and now all your wire connections are protected by that cover. Okay, so we're getting close now. So now what I want to do is I want to test the dishwasher. So I want to make sure that I have actually removed all of the foam padding so that I can shut this thing properly. There's one more piece of plastic here. All right, now we'll make sure we can close it, and actually let's take a look. I'll remove those stickers later, but now the dishwasher's closed. So now we'll turn on the power supply. All right, so we're turning on number 20. All right, now for the wet test, I'm going to turn the water supply back on. All right, with the water line connected and the water supply on, we're making sure there are no leaks. Everything looks good. All right, before we do our test run, we will pour about 2 quarts of water on the bottom of the dishwasher, just to lubricate all those seals. And Now we can remove this protective film. All right, so we'll just select a 1 hour wash, even though this is a test. We'll hit the start button, and now we'll close it. And now the test will start. While the test is running, we'll be watching the bottom of the dishwasher. We want to make sure there are no leaks. So far, everything looks good. Alright, so we've been running for about 10 minutes. Everything looks good. No leaks on the supply side. I can hear it running, but I see no leaks, so I think we're in good shape. All right, so now we're gonna cancel. 1, 2, 3. And now we'll be looking to see that we have no leaks down here. All right, we don't have any leaks in any of these lines, and there is no leaking underneath the dishwasher. With a passing leak test, we can now install the noise barrier padding that goes behind the kicker plate. So once we push that into place, then you can slide your kicker plate over it. You will find the screws for the kicker plate already mounted at the bottom of the dishwasher, so you're just going to unscrew those with either a Phillips screwdriver or a 1/4-inch driver. You will find one on each side. And now you can line up that toe kick plate with the location of both of those screws and reinstall the screws that you just removed. With everything put together, now you can remove that protective film because the risk of scratching your new machine is quite minimal. And the one last thing to install are the bottle washers, which are kind of new to these dishwashers. So all you're going to do is slide those down. 2 come with your dishwasher. And if you are interested in having more, I'll put a link in the description as to where you can buy a few more of these. You will find all the tools that I used in the description. Thanks for watching. Check out the description for more information and hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos.